All right, hey everyone. Today I want to give you guys a devotional called Take the Initiative. Okay, take an initiative. And it comes from Luke chapter 10 is where we're going to read about the story of the Good Samaritan. I know that's a very familiar story, but it's so important when we're thinking about taking initiative and seeing things, seeing problems, and fixing those problems. So here's how the story goes. In verse 25, a lawyer stands up and he's trying to kind of catch Jesus off guard. And so he asks Jesus, hey, what do I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus says, well, what do you think? What does the law of God say? And he says, well, I got to love God with all my heart and I got to love my neighbor as myself. And Jesus said, yeah, you're right. Do that. But then the lawyer, because he kind of had a problem with that whole love your neighbor part, he says, well, who is my neighbor? And essentially what he's asking in that point of time, he's saying, well, what is really my responsibility, right? Like, am I responsible for everybody? What's my actual responsibility? And that's a lot of times our attitude towards things as well. Well, that's not really my problem. That's not really my responsibility. So we don't take the responsibility. We don't take initiative because we think, well, that's not my issue. That's somebody else's problem. That someone else is going to do that. And what happens is things go missed and things don't get taken care of because we don't have that heart of service. So Jesus then tells the story of the Good Samaritan. And this is what he says in verse 30 of chapter 10 of Luke. He says, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, wounded him, and departed, and leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at that place, came and looked on him, and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was. He saw him, had compassion on him, and went to him, bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn and took care of him. He goes to the innkeeper and pays for extra stay to take care of this man. And then Jesus asks this at the end of this story. Which now of these three, the Levite, the priest, or the Samaritan, thinkest thou was a neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And the lawyer answered, and he said, he that showed mercy on him. And Jesus said, go, and do thou likewise. So the lawyer again was asking, well, is that really my responsibility? Who's my responsibility? And Jesus' essential answer is, anybody that God puts in your path, any problem that God puts in your path, any opportunity you have to serve him, that becomes your responsibility. And it's so interesting here because the Levite and the priest, they totally overlooked this opportunity to do something for the Lord because they just didn't have the responsibility. They didn't want it. But the Samaritan was completely different. And there's three things I just want to highlight that he did. In verse 33, it says this. A certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, where that beaten up man was. And when he saw him, the first thing the Samaritan did was he saw the man. His eyes were open to the opportunities that God might have presented to him. And his eyes were open to that. And so he saw the person. First thing we have to do is have eyes that are open to needs that are around us. We can't be so shut off and self-focused when we're not aware of our surroundings, especially when it comes to serving in the church. We got to be looking out for different people that might be in need, for different situations that might need our help and might need our service. And having those eyes that are open to be able to see the problems that might come up and how we can intervene. The second thing he did, though, is he saw him, and then it says, and he had compassion on him. See, his heart was affected. The Levite and the priest, their eyes were open too. They saw the man, but they had no compassion, so they didn't do anything about the problem. Samaritan was different. His eyes were open. He saw the problem, saw the need, and he had a heart of service that was willing to love and serve others even above himself, willing to take his time to go out of his way to pay extra money to serve someone. He had his heart in the right place. If we're going to take initiative when serving in the church, we got to be able to have a heart that's in the right place. Say, God, I want to serve you. I want to serve others. Because if our heart's not in the right place, we might see a situation, but then do nothing about it. Like a new guest that comes in at Branches. We might see someone that comes in that we don't recognize, and our eyes might be open and aware to that, but because our heart isn't in the right place, because we don't have compassion, because we don't have love for that other person, we don't ever try to take the initiative to go over and talk to them because our heart is not right. And so we have to, like the Samaritan, have our heart in the right place where we say, I see the need and I am willing to serve and to help and to take the initiative to actually do something about the need. I have a heart that is willing to serve others and to serve Christ. And finally, he not only just felt that, but he also did something about it. It says that he saw the man, had compassion. In verse 34, it says he went to him. He took that initiative to go to that man to do something about this problem, about this situation that God put in his path. That's what taking the initiative is. It's seeing the need, having the right heart position, and then doing something about it. The Good Samaritan, he didn't have to have someone else tell him. He didn't have a boss that was standing there saying, oh, you should go take care of this. He saw a need, had the heart in the right place, and so he did something about the need. And the same thing goes for us at church. We can't just think so blindly that this is my responsibility and this is the only thing I'm going to take care of, and I don't care about anything else because our heart's not in the right place. Our eyes aren't open. We have to have eyes open to be aware of everything that's going on, and then have a heart that's willing to serve. So when we see the need, say, you know what, I'm willing to do something about it, and then take the initiative to do something about it. And one thing like at our church that I think is a good example of this is when you walk into our worship room, kind of outside before you get to the little coffee area, there's all these like signs, so like on tall sticks and the little signage, and they're just like bulky and messy, and sometimes they're actually kind of a walking hazard, really. And as I walk by, I see those, and I always take them and I put them into like the galley area, so they're out of people's way, so it's not messy and not crazy looking, and it's not going to hurt anybody. And this is one area that I think that all of us can just like have eyes that are open. If you walk by and you see those and you're like, that's a little messy and that's going to maybe hurt, do something about it. Take that initiative to move it. Don't just assume, well, someone else is going to do that. Take the initiative. Same thing with the guest at church. Don't just assume someone else is going to see the guest, have that compassion, and then actually go to them and talk to them, even if it's just introducing yourself, saying hello, and welcome them in. You know, what's so interesting about the book of Luke, too, and that this story appears in it, is because Luke took the initiative as well. Luke was not a disciple of Jesus. He wasn't one of the apostles, but he came to faith, and he took the initiative to go and start interviewing hundreds of different witnesses on Jesus' life so that he could write the Gospel of Luke, write this biography of Jesus' life for us. If he didn't take that initiative to go out, we wouldn't have this gospel. We wouldn't have this story of the Good Samaritan that's so important. But he was willing to see a need that, man, someone really needs to tell the story of Jesus' life. Take the initiative to go and to talk to hundreds of witnesses, and then God used them to write the book of Luke. And so we have to be that same way as leaders in the church, as people that are serving within the church. Have your eyes that are open to needs that you see. Have a heart of compassion, willing to serve others and serve the Lord. And then take that initiative to do something when you see a problem. If you see someone struggling and hurting, go over to them, pray with them. If you see somebody that is trying to do their work, but it seems like they're extra busy or things aren't working out, go and help them out and serve them. Say, hey, can I help you in that? If you see something at church, the chairs that are messed up or trash on the ground or something that's just messy, if it's messy in the bathroom, take the initiative to clean it up, to pick it up, to make it better. And that way you can be a help and to everyone within the church and kind of do what Jesus says is to go and do thou likewise, to serve others, to serve him by seeing the need, having compassion, and then taking action. All right, I love you guys, and I'm praying for you, and can't wait to see you soon. All right, bye.